Keyshawn Johnson talked about Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham on ESPN's KJM.
Baker Mayfield missed so many opportunities that was right in front of him, and you can't see it on television because the TV cameras are not panning to what you see. So I'm looking at it from a high view. I'm looking at it from up top, down. I can see everything that's going on, all 22 players. I can see it before it even takes place. Who should be getting the football? That last possession, Odell Beckham Jr. might have been open 55 times, okay? He didn't attempt to throw him the football. So it was kind of like, okay, Baker, I get it, but you got to get him the ball. Like, what are you doing? He tried to throw a Hail Mary for no reason at all.
And Scott, hindsight 2020, but these guys are too talented not to be utilized and using that effectiveness of potential explosive plays.
Yeah. Odell needs to get the ball more. I agree with that. I thought the week before against the Vikings, Baker just missed him. Odell was running open plenty of times, and Baker just missed him. Yesterday, it was weird. There's only 3 targets to Odell. A lot of times people say, hey, he's forcing the ball to Odell. I don't know if Baker's overcorrecting and, trying not to force it to him. But it's strange that he would only get 3 targets, even though, the Browns ran it 35 times. And Njoku had a big day. Donovan Peoples-Jones had a big day. I think Odell's drawing double coverage. But that still doesn't feel like enough attempts at Odell, and I would expect that to change next week. I think Keyshawn's probably a little exaggerating with the 55 times that he was open late. But, there was one play on that last drive where Baker threw a deep ball to Donovan Peoples-Jones. It felt like he could have hit Odell on a deep crossing route and maybe get down to the 35-yard line, and then you have a couple of shots at the end zone from there as opposed to the 50. So it's interesting, and I hate to fall back on the chemistry thing because I don't think that's entirely it. But obviously they're still not clicking, whether it's play calling, Baker, Odell, they're still not clicking at the level that I would expect them to.
Yeah, and quite frankly, if the Browns are going to be what they want to be, at the level they need to be. Having said that, we're talking about he didn't get the ball enough. They scored 42 points. That's enough to win 90% of the time in the NFL, maybe 95% of the time in the NFL.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, that's why some of the criticism feels, forced or a little strange to me because, man, they scored 42, right? And it feels like you're nitpicking, and not you, but, people are nitpicking. I do think having Jarvis Landry back, whether it's this week when he's eligible to come off IR or whenever that is, I think that will help Odell. I think teams will pay more attention to Jarvis than they probably do Rashard Higgins or Donovan Peoples-Jones. And maybe just having Jarvis on the field will help Odell. But yeah, we're still early this season. There's a lot of way to go. But I'd be shocked if Odell doesn't have a huge impact through multiple games as this season progresses.
Yeah, and it's coming. I said it a few weeks ago about David Njoku. There's a game where he's got 150 yards and a couple of touchdowns coming for Odell Beckham Jr.